Alright, hello everyone, my name is Shep, welcome back to the Butcher Circus, and today we are playing in Sir Isaac Pendleton. Now, I don't know why, but I feel like I recognize this name. This has to be some sort of figure, Pendleton, especially that Pendleton name. I don't think I've played against this person before. They're playing with kind of like an occultist Halo comp, so they have an Arbalest here for the sniper shot, they have the synergy with the occultist, but well, I'll have you know, my team is actually fully prepared to deal with this, because I am playing with the CHONKY Highwayman. He has 51 max HP, meaning that even if you crit sniper shot him for 44 damage, you are still not going to one-shot him with the Arbalest, which is exactly this team's idea. So this team's idea is to have a stress team with a man at arms, so he's tanky, he has insane stun resistance, which I probably should have used immediately. I probably should have gone for the immediate guard on the Abomination to make this Crusader hopeless, but I didn't, but it will be okay because I can do it now. So my opponent is gonna go for the mark, and here's the thing, I don't have to regen. Even if I get one shot, I mean, I'm not gonna get one shot. I have 49 HP on my Highwayman because of the sturdy buckle blood-stained Gambason. So I'm actually perfectly okay here to just drop the guy on the Abomination. I actually, no, maybe I do care if they get the crit sniper shot, because they could finale round one. Actually, they could finale round one. Oh, that's unfortunate if you're my opponent. Yeah, that is quite unfortunate. Well, in that case, I don't know. I feel like guarding the Abomination was a bit of a gamble. Maybe not the correct move, because I have so much protection here. I could have gone... my opponent doesn't have the Piercing Quarrel, so I could have immediately gone for the Protect Me, for the Prot, after the guard. I could have done lots of things. You're gonna go for the Stunning Blow. Buddy, I have 120% stun resistance. That's not working. That is not working for you. If it worked, oh god. If it worked, it would be really, really unfortunate. But there's another unfortunate thing, Vendetta accuracy. Ah, Vendetta failing the dodge debuff, you know, just the way things are, I guess. I wanted to go for it and then go for the duelist advance, but I feel like I'm not even gonna go for the duelist advance. I'm just gonna sit here and kind of just enjoy my life. The reason I'm gonna do that is because, not because I want to be greedy, but because I don't want to go in range of the Crusader's stunning blow, which would be really bad for me here. The reason I'm not going for the regen immediately is because I kind of want to do something else first, and the reason I'm not clicking for the regen is because I'm waiting for the Arbalest turn. She actually does enough damage. That's really unfortunate. That kind of messes up my game plan, but it doesn't mess it up too much. I was hoping they wouldn't do enough damage with that because of the battle debuff, but you know, I obviously failed at 90%, so you know, itty what itty. But we're gonna de-transform and we're gonna go for the manacles on this Jester to make sure that he can't get the finale off. So this Abomination's in a weird spot because this is actually position 1 stress Abomination, so he's here to just transform and then be kind of subpar with the rest of his abilities, but he's relatively safe most of the time. So they're gonna go for the Demon's Pool, thankfully not a death blow, so I'm a-okay, but it does put me in a position where I don't want to be, so do I move back twice is the question. Oh, Highwayman, you're so chunky, but your HP is gone, brother. It's gone. I don't know what happened to it. 2 sniper shots and it's just completely gone, even though I have this much max HP, you know. Having a Flagellant here to drop a redeem would be really cool. And yeah, the Crusader is just useless. That's that's how we love it. Crusader just being completely useless. Do I think more HP or more prot would be more helpful here? Probably more HP. Yeah, let's try more HP. Oh, it's just unfortunate because they have that finale pressure. Once they get rid of one of my characters, it just becomes a bit rough for me. I think I just have to go for the guard here. I'm sorry, Abomination. I really wanted you to get the second transformation off sooner rather than later, but you are a clasp of the beast, the gang Abomination. You have that innate 10 protection, you have the regen, you have the more max HP, so you can just eat a stun, and then the next turn you can transform. I'll live with this, okay? I just need the Highwayman to survive for now, because this is becoming quite rough. I'm having to spend too many turns on the defense and not enough turns on the offense, so it's just becoming rough for me. They're going for the stunning blow here. I don't care, they don't have a bounty counter for finish him synergy, and I would click, but they still have the sniper shot with the stabilizing tilter, so I would go to their store, and then the Jester would actually kill me. I think they're gonna be able to do that regardless, actually. I think they will be able to do that, which is really, really bad for me if it happens, because I'm dazed. So I click, they click, I click, and I'm screwed. I will have to move forward 2 positions, by the way. I think that's what I'm gonna have to move here. It's gonna be uncanny, but I will have to move forward twice with my HIGHWAYMAN to survive the Arbalest, unless they don't go for the move plan I would. So they can just do whatever with the occultist, and then because my abomination is dazed, because we love dazes, they can sniper shot my HIGHWAYMAN after I click, because I'm forced to click here, and then they one shot me, and then they kill me with the Dirk Stab. Of course, I can force them to eat 2 repasts, but I really don't want to rely on my Bloodstained Gambeson to survive a Dirk Stab Deathblow with the finishers, so it's probably going to be a move forward twice. Now my opponent is really smart, and they actually go for... Actually no, they're not that smart. They go for the Weakening Curse to get rid of the protection on my A-Bomb. They could have gone for the Vulnerability Hex to make sure he's marked so they could actually do tons of damage to him, but they didn't. So... It's annoying, but it's gonna have to be this. I move forward twice. You know, I could just gamble it and pray that my opponent doesn't see the move. That is a possibility, but honestly, that's not how we do it here in Shepherd Doggy Land. That would be a bit outrageous. So they're gonna go for the sniper shot, and yeah, if that was a mark is way more valuable than minus 10% protection. So kind of odd of my opponent not take advantage of it, but you know, it is what it is. So now they're gonna just try to pressure my abomination. But here's what's gonna happen. Even if you do some pressure onto him, I did get to go first, so now I just click, I have 9 regen, I transform, and I most likely try to go for a push on your chest, which works, actually. It works really well because of the Wretch's Cloak. It's such a broken trinket. The horror, this is, I think this is like one of the 2 or 3 offensive moves I've done this game. I think my HIGHWAYMAN has done like 1 Vendetta, and then he's been moving back, moving forward. He just doesn't know where he wants to go. The Men-at-Arms did like 1 Bellow, and the Antiquarian just spamming regen. It is actually really, really funny. So they go for the crit bola, they get it, of course, because, you know, it's a bola. Of course they're gonna get it. And I do still have a guard for a bit, so I think this is just a Bellow turn. Yeah, I think this is just a Bellow turn. We're gonna reduce the Crusader's damage, or, you know, try to. It's funny because this isn't really a classic Mark team, so it doesn't have that like super low. Oh, that's fortunate. It doesn't have that super low debuff resistance that Mark teams usually do. Like Bounty Hunter has 10, Arbalest has 10, Crusader has 10, but I'm still failing a few more bellows than I should be. I'm failing bellows on the 10s, which it really shouldn't be happening. But you know, I think at this point in time, it's gonna be just the same thing all over again. We drop more Rejuvenating Vapors. Eventually, I will be winning this, unless my opponent goes Courageous with the Crusader. If that happens, it's GG, but I forgot to mention, this team was built by Gonzo. If you remember him, if you remember that chap, Gonzo actually built this one, shipped it over to me, and he was like, hey, try this out, CHONKY HIGHWAYMAN. Who cares if you get 1 shot, really doesn't matter. So it would be really nice not to have that 40 dodge there. It would be really nice to have 20, but you know, I failed the debuffs, so this actually doesn't miss. Just fortunate Shepherd Doggy today. It looks like there is justice in this world, and he's at this door, so that's actually going to be enough stress to make him afflict, so he's going to go irrational and get the act out finale. Now he goes abusive. That's plus damage. That's good for my opponent. They can't finale yet. They're looking for it, but there's no world where they do enough damage. Yeah, they're just going to go for... Oh! The Dirk Stab whiffs because they're at this store and abusive. Oh, that's why you battle ballad. Yeah, my team doesn't have a lot of dodge, but that's why you battle ballad. That just sucks. That absolutely sucks. Oh, crit heal for 24 on the regen. Okay, does this get rid of the protection debuff? No, not yet. Not yet, unfortunately. But I get... I get a stun death blow right there, the permanent stun from the D-transform. My characters are all in a fine spot. My opponent's characters take 2. 2 of them take extra stress from the Jester dying. They fail yet another stun, and there's the surrender? No? Not yet! Not yet! My opponent has a harder... not harder, has sturdier resilience than I do. Oh no, that's a surrender now. Yeah, I would have surrendered a long time. Yeah, there it is. There it is. I knew it was gonna happen. I knew it was gonna happen. Yeah, after stuff like that happens, you know, there's a point where you just say enough is enough and you go to the next match, right? That's I think the double crit grape shot wasn't really necessary to go next, but finally it does happen, and let's go for match number 2. Alright, and here we go straight into a match number 2. So this time we're playing against an apprentice who is playing with the Immortal Musketeer. So, you know, that's fun. That's a lot of fun, but they have a very odd Immortal Musketeer. Just... okay, RNG. No, doesn't go for accuracy buffs. Doesn't have Valor on the men-at-arms, doesn't have Exsanguinate. This is a very, very odd Immortal Musketeer, let me tell you that much, but you know, we vibe with it. Okay, I think what we want to do here is probably get the duelist advance off before a Beast Spile comes through, because this looks like the opponent to spam Beast Spile. It definitely looks like it. So we're just gonna do that. We're gonna transform, go for the slam on the flagellant, make sure he doesn't get to keep his shenanigans up. I don't really care if they stun me here. It's not a guaranteed chance, and it's just not damage whatsoever. So you know, I think it's perfectly okay for me. Thankfully, don't have Contour Vap solution either. This is a very discount flagellant having the Pit Fighter's Helm instead. The prot is good, but you know. Yeah, it's quite fun. That might be something I try sometime. I might be trying the Flagellant team with Contour Vap solution and either the Pit Fighter's Helm or what do you call it? The other cool one, the Crusader Helm? No, the Gladiator's Helm. Yeah, the one that gives you plus 5 max HP and plus 10% prot. Because those stats actually synergize really well to Flagellant. He's eating stuns from Crusaders most of the time, so that's good to just kind of mitigate that a little bit. He's eating slams, so mitigates that too. And the max HP makes it so his self-healing is all the better, so quite a nice thing to be getting. I think this is just gonna be a regen turn, and I actually want to speak a little bit about myself in this match, because it should be a tiny bit more chill, because I'm playing against an apprentice. I don't want to jinx it, but it should be a tiny bit more chill. As you might have seen from the previous match, or you know, from just watching Shepherd Doggy videos in general, I sometimes make somewhat autistic screeches. I am not autistic, and I do actually make these screeches IRL too. It's not just some... Actually, this is rough. It's not just some internet personality thing. And while people don't really mention it as much as I thought they would, I do still sometimes get some weird looks thrown my way. And every time that happens, I just imagine the person just pointing at me and going like, haha, he's having fun! Look at him, guys! He's having fun! Make fun of him, he's having fun. And it's kind of a weird thing to be mentioning, honestly, but it's odd because oh, that's good. Yeah, it's odd because why would you be pointing at someone for just having their own fun, right? Just living their own life, just enjoying themselves, which, well, I'll be honest, this community is quite good, so it doesn't happen, but it happens in lots of other places. And it's just really, really unfortunate that people can be kind of so mean sometimes. You know, I've really gone off the rails here. I've gone from Butcher Circus to people being mean and just snooping in where they shouldn't, and just overall just spreading negativity, which is something that I'm very much against. I try just being kind of like being a good positive influence in the world, you know. Just try spreading positivity rather than negativity. I feel like there's enough of the latter already. So going back into this match, my HIGHWAYMAN now wants to drop his Vendetta. I've been trying to keep my Antiquarian alive, by the way. The regen wasn't enough to counter that Reign of Sorrows, so I've had to guard my HIGHWAYMAN, which does funnel damage into the riposte, so that is actually a pretty good thing we've got going. Gonzo did tell me the Immortal Musketeer was not a very good matchup. He said he played against one of the Immortal Musketeer players and that it went absolutely horribly. I can imagine why, because your offense is somewhat lackluster. Man-at-Arms doesn't have offense, HIGHWAYMAN has, you know, chunk trinkets, Antiquarian is defensive, and while the Abomination does cause horror, it doesn't really do too much when you're playing against Bolster, Numbing Incense, ranging shots, so all those juicy statistics are kind of being mitigated. But you know, this isn't the most elite of Immortal Musketeers, so it should be okay for your favorite Shepherd Doggy here to just try to snowball this match. So they're trying to go for the manacles, which has been failing. This time it does work, so my Antiquarian is back in a rough spot, but check this out, guys. Watch what I can do. I can guard myself on the stunned character. Yeah, what are you gonna do now? You're gonna stun him again, are you? You're gonna stun the stunned character. Try me. Just try me. Honestly, I probably shouldn't have done that. I probably should have gone for the Abomination instead, but if your opponent has another stun, they're not gonna stun the already stunned character, so you can actually just do this and you're perfectly protected. You see my opponent is bamboozled, they're shook. They're like, what the hell happened there? Why is this HIGHWAYMAN guarding while he's stunned? But it does work. It is kind of a funny mechanic that the Antiquarian has, and I rarely get to use it because Protect Me is usually not the move, but in this team it is the move, so you know, here we are, just spamming Bellows with my 96 accuracy and somehow landing all of them. I love it. I absolutely love it. One thing that is kind of bad though is me spamming this Protect Me means that it's gonna run out eventually, and it also means that I'm not using regen. So the bleed from this Flagellant is actually gonna catch up to me really quick, especially because I'm also being stunned and all that. So this isn't looking too good, even though it looks quite fancy, and even though it looks like it's gonna be okay, it's not. It's not gonna be okay. So I'm gonna de-transform here. Sadly, they guarded their Abomination, which is a really good move because that's the character I was going to stun. I could move back twice to just try to go for that could work. I could move back twice, go PBS, and just see if I can make it work that way. Or I could just go for a risky stun here. I mean, this stun has a lot of good potential, if it did work. If it did work, it would mean no Reign of Sorrows for another turn. It would mean I would just get to transform freely next round, would be really good. But sadly, it doesn't work. Maybe I should have moved back, maybe I shouldn't. Oh god, please fail. Okay, now it works. This is gonna be rough. This is gonna be a rough match. Thankfully, the chunkiness is helping, even though I'm resisting none of the bleeds because there's spiked bad value on there. I'm probably not gonna resist the lights either. The fact that my HIGHWAYMAN has so much max HP means that he's eating all this punishment, but he's still just a-okay. I only have my guard for another turn, so I can't actually just go for the move here. I have to drop a regen first, and then probably try to guard with my Man-at-Arms or something of the likes. It's unfortunate because the Man-at-Arms is not really in a position to do that. Yeah, I probably should have thought ahead and just moved back twice, because now the Man-at-Arms would be in a position to guard the Antiquarian because there won't be Reign of Sorrows, but surprisingly they don't go for that. They don't wait and then go for the Reign of Sorrows, they just go for something else entirely, so I'm just gonna go ahead and drop the Bellow, because I need to keep doing stress and reducing their damage. Oh, it's just, I'm doing 0 stress. This isn't really Immortal Musketeer, but it feels as oppressive as one to this kind of subpar team. Yes, Con, so I said that your team is subpar. Your team is cool. It is Kino, but it is a bit lackluster. I have 40 prot here. What are you hoping to do? That would do like 2 damage. Sure, it would remove 10% of my prot, but who cares? This is going to be a duelist advanced turn, so because this Flagellant doesn't actually have the Exsanguinate, I feel a tiny bit more confident just trying to burst him down. I'm going to do that. They're going to go for the aim shot here. Yeah, you can see my opponent knows what they're doing. They immediately see the guard is gone, they're going to go for the death blow. Sadly for them it didn't work, but you know, we game on. So I'm gonna go for the push onto this Flagellant. It does put him in position 3, meaning that he's gonna be essentially useless for a couple rounds. He's gonna have to redeem, then he's gonna have to move forward, so that's 2 rounds where he's not being offensive with his offensive setup, so I love it, I love it. He's gonna go for the redeem on the Abomination. My opponent has their HP fully back, they're not that stressed out, and it's not the end of the world for me either though, because I can just click here, I can drop more regen, advance, and we game on. We keep on fighting. This is gonna be a bit of a longer one. It would be really nice if I had some way of clearing DOT, because DOT is the counter to the regen. But yeah, my opponent surprisingly transforms here. Personally, I would have just kept going for the bile. You have 30 prot, my riposte really isn't gonna hurt that much. I don't have any damage trinkets on it, and protection really hinders the riposte damage. So I think just spamming bile here to counter my regen, do stress, would have been fine, but they go for the rage instead and whiff. Oh, the classic. And yeah, you can see the riposte really didn't do too much. What I'm actually going to do here is I'm gonna duelist advance again, further lowering my riposte damage, but to allow myself to go for the beast pile, because it is much better than manacles at this point in time. I also want to de-transform. I don't want to just, you know, stay in transformation mode, eat stress for no reason. I want to de-transform, start spamming piles, because that's the best thing I can do. I keep dodging with my... Actually, that's 39 dodge, that's a lot. How do I have so much? Oh, right, I have so much because this also gives you dodge. It doesn't give you just prot, it gives you dodge too. It's really working out well for me. My opponent isn't going for the commands, so yeah, wonderful. Well, in that case, they did drop the guard as well, so I could go for a stun the abomination, but it's just gonna be a bile turn. Usually after you de-transform, you really want to bile because you're dazed, so at least you're gonna have to riposte for longer. You kind of force yourself into having to riposte for a ton of time, because that's usually what you want to do. You just want to lay that mine there for a really long time, not just for a teeny tiny bit. The longer it is there, the less options your opponent is gonna have for the more amount of rounds. So I really don't want to get one shot, or rather I really don't want to get death load here, so I'm gonna guard my antiquarian, mostly because the bells are also, you know, doing like 5 stress a pop, so it's really not that influential. But they're gonna keep going hard on my Highwayman. They don't even drop me to the star here, which is kind of surprising. They do cause blight though. They do cause blight, which actually means I can't regen myself out of the store. That crushed hemlock value is unbelievable. Because of that crushed hemlock, now I won't have enough regen, because I would have 9 oh no, actually it was just barely. Yeah, just barely enough. So I would have 9 versus 9, so I would never actually regen myself out of the store, but now instead I'm going to be taking a tiny bit of damage, but I won't be dying, which is good. The Man-at-Arms actually moves back to allow this Flagellant to be aggressive, but I won't let him be aggressive here. I'm just going to use my Grape Shot Blast, increase my riposte damage, and also put him to the store while he's dazed. Sadly, I can't capitalize on it because my Abomination is dazed too, but yeah, they don't have to go for a heal here. They could just redeem, but I feel like what they want to do is heal and kind of just try to... Wait, did I not go first? No, I guess I didn't. After the heal, they can still be aggressive with their Flagellant, and I imagine my opponent would rather be aggressive with their Flagellant than with their Musketeer. So they're gonna go Rapturous on him. It's very fun that they have this setup. Honestly, I respect it, because you don't have all the trinkets. Conduit of Absolution comes in at 63 prestige, so it's really late in the prestige thing. It's one of the last trinkets you unlock, like one of the last 4 or 5. Yeah, 4 or 5. So, you know, you gotta make do with what you got, and what you got here is, you know, trinkets that don't really let you be as defensive as the Gauntlet of Absolution would, as having 2 numbing instances would, so you just make do and change the team around a little bit so it still works quite well. Sadly, my repulse didn't hit for 10, which is what I really wanted, because then I would be able to force a death blow here, but since it didn't work, I have to go for this to drop the Flagellant down to 0, and it does drop him down to 0, and even though I get a crit, I don't get a stun, but you know, that's just Flagellant getting buffs from being at this store rather than debuffs like everyone else in the Circus. He's built different, literally built different. They're gonna go for the death blow rather than saving themselves. It whiffs because I still have 29 dodge somehow. And I am going to click myself out of this door actually. And I'm going to duelist advance for the 20% death blow. What is this justice? There is no justice in this world, but it's against my opponents. So there is justice in this world. Yeah, they're not having a fun time today. This team just has the Gonzo blessing. It has the Gonzo blessing. He's also Portuguese, just like I am, so I guess it has the double Portuguese blessing going on right here. It's the Cristiano Ronaldo team. Yeah, it is what it is. So I drop to this door. That's okay. I can guard. Actually, I don't even have to. They can't even be aggressive at the moment. I'll probably still guard, but honestly, after my opponent has lost one of their offensive characters, and the best offensive character that they had actually, it's pretty much doomed for them because I still have all of my defense here. Good thing about the Antiquarian's defense with Rejuvenating Vapors is that it never runs out. Unlike the Flagellant, who is eventually going to run out of his shenanigans, mostly eventually going to run out of his shenanigans, the Antiquarian just doesn't, unless you kill the characters in front of her, and then, you know, she literally can't use regen from positions 2 on 1, which is great. If she could use regen from positions 2 on 1, this game would be very unbalanced. I think that would make her overpowered. Would it really? How broken would it be if the Antiquarian could use regen from positions 1 and 2? I think it would just be dumb because healing characters are usually just have to be backliners. The Flagellant is different because, you know, he's Flagellant. He's literally built different, but I think that's okay. I think that's okay that the Flagellant's built different. He definitely needs a nerf or two, but I don't think just having characters like the Musketeer, like the Antiquarian, like the Vestal just healing from positions 1 and 2 would be too fair. The Vestal can still do it with her Divine Comfort, just the AoE heal. But the Antiquarian dropping a party-wide regen from position 1, it sounds very odd, that's for sure. It definitely sounds very odd. I don't know why my opponent does that. They want to crush! They want to crush, they want to be aggressive with it. That's really neat. But yeah, it would look odd, for sure. I don't know how OP it would be, though. I think... because in what situations would that be bad? Because regen usually works better against damage teams, but if you have an Antiquarian in positions 2 or 1 against damage teams, she's already in the line of fire, she's gonna get stunned. And why would you put her there? Who are you gonna put in your back instead of her? Like, you know, just a Plague Doctor? I don't get it. It would be such an odd thing. I think it would actually be okay, because you don't want her in positions 1 and 2 anyway. As long as it isn't just position 1, because then at the end of the game you would still have regen on yourself. So like in the final 1v1, you would have regen 3 times just from dropping it. So no, that could not happen, but having it in position 2 could be fine. Having it in position 2 probably wouldn't be too overpowered. Yeah, I don't think so. Does she need that buff? No, she's fine. She really doesn't need a buff. She's an okay character, the Antiquarian. Maybe make her nervous stab a bit cooler. You know, give it like 5 accuracy or something. But honestly, she's really not a character that needs a buff. She's a-okay. She's one of the most balanced characters in the Butcher's Circus. I'd say the most balanced is a Grave Robber, because she can do lots of things. She has her own niche. She can do what she does really well, but not in a way that just looks too overpowered, because it isn't. She has Panic Dart, she has Lunge, and all those moves are really good. And really unique, because no other character can do quite what she does. They're not that overpowered, they're just nice. They're just nice, and that's cool. So I'm going to lose the guard here, but that's okay. I have a ton of regen. If you want to play this team, definitely give it a try. Play it exactly the way I'm playing it. Even though this is kind of a meme, just having the chonk HIGHWAYMAN, it works because you need him to be chonky. You have the chonky Abomination, you have the chonky Man-at-Arms with the stun resistance, so why not bring a chonky HIGHWAYMAN as well? Well, sure, because he has Riposte, so you kinda don't need it. Yeah, but this isn't a damage team, so the Riposte isn't as impactful as it normally would be. It's just there. It's kinda just there. As a slight thing telling the enemy team, like, oh, if you hit me, I have Riposte. Let's forget that it doesn't actually matter too much because I'm a stress team, but you know, the Riposte is there, so please don't hit me. Yeah, even though it's gonna do like 5 damage, because it is what it's been doing. It's been doing like 5 damage to my opponent's side, but you know, it's there. He's gonna go afflicted at last. The first affliction happening. Jesus, how is my opponent's... How is it round 10 and their man-at-arms isn't even afflicted, nor the musketeer? This team is so bloody slow, it's unbelievable. But yeah, my opponent once again sacrifices their character. Allows me to go duelist advance here. Yeah, sure, I'll get repulsed. I go for it. I don't get the lucky death blow this time. That would have been unfair. Not even funny. It would have just been completely unfair. But yeah, this is just what happens. If you get a bit of a lead with this team, chances are you're not going to lose. Because you just have too much defense. So if you fall behind, it's still possible for you to win because you're not fully defense. You're not like an immortal musketeer. So you can still kind of sacrifice some of your characters to be aggressive. And just get a lot of stress on the opponent's side and still try to win it. Even though your focus is to be defensive and kind of keep everyone alive for as long as possible. It's still okay if you don't. So they're gonna go for the crush. They do get it. They do get the crush crit death blow actually, which is kind of nutty. They tried to go for the guard and the abomination was like, you know that's a bad move. You know that's a bad move. They have festering vapors and grape shot. That's a bad move, man. Don't do it. And the abomination sacrifices himself to allow the man-at-arms to get that death blow on my Highwayman. But now it is a 3v2, and obviously that musketeer, well, she looks relatively good right now. She's gonna go to position 2 eventually, where she'll only be able to buckshot into my beast pile, so it's not gonna be fun for my opponent, not whatsoever. And honestly, I just have too much regen here. The only way they could win this is if I just got Horrid's afflictions, but honestly, yeah, it's gonna take a while for that to happen. So big GG's to my opponent. Hope you all enjoyed today's video. Hope you all enjoyed today's team as well. I'm sorry for not making videos too frequently anymore because I've been kind of busy with exams as well in my university, but I hope you still enjoyed the odd upload that I do output. So I'll see you again another time. Cheers.